What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Unplayable, the Conversation Lab. I'm DHaus here with Jay, Mike, and Jim, fresh off the Star Wars Unlimited community celebration, and we're so excited to talk about that with you guys. How are you guys feeling? It's, you're home, you're back. Are you sad? Are you exhilarated? How are you feeling, guys?
Sad and tired.
Fair. I got a lot of good sleep last night, so I feel whatever the term would be, invigorated.
I pinched myself 12 times today to make sure it actually happened, and can confirm it did actually happen.
Fair.
Yep.
And the most hyped I've ever been for Star Wars Unlimited.
Yes.
At this
seriously.
It was weird getting home just in time for the Super Bowl, and all I wanted to do was look at Discord for Star Wars Unlimited stuff. and I'm someone who follows the Super Bowl and the NFL closely, but I was like, I just want to keep talking Star Wars Unlimited.
The Super Bowl happened. It started basically when my flight took off, and it ended just about when my flight landed. And I was trying really hard to fall asleep on the plane, and I couldn't. So I just watched the person to the front and to the right of me. I watched their screen. I didn't even have it on my own. I didn't hear what was going on. I watched the halftime show, but I didn't hear it because I was trying to fall asleep the whole time and it didn't work.
That's funny.
That would be so weird to watch Usher with no music.
Yeah. I was very curious what was going on. And at the end, I was like, oh, Ludacris and Lil Jon, this must have been good.
You knew they were going to come out. So
they had to. Funny. They had to. I was really hoping.
And we're sports stream now.
I still haven't watched it with sound yet. So
amazing.
I'm going to do that after this.
Amazing. Well, I think there were dreams and hopes that we could do this in person when we were there. Yeah. But there was just so much happening and so many games and stuff. We just decided we would get home and kind of debrief it. So a lot of this episode will be talking about our experiences and sharing stories and some of our highlights from that experience. So real quick, for those who are just completely unaware, maybe you're living under a rock, but the Star Wars Unlimited community celebration was basically an event that FFG and Asmodee put on for content creators and some influencers. We got some invitations to fly up to Minnesota and basically open the first ever Star Wars Unlimited product. And there was a 5-hour live stream that we got to be part of, and just tons of drafts and sealed and just tons of hype. I mean, this was quite a unique event. I've never seen FFG do anything even remotely like this. And we were super honored to be there. So before we even start, we should just say thanks for the invitation to Serena and Jim and whoever, Xander. And I mean, there's a million people to thank, honestly. So I probably shouldn't name names because I will inevitably leave somebody off. But that was just awesome. So on the front end, we're honored to be there. And that was such a cool experience. But let's jump in with Friday. Let's just talk about Friday. What happened? What were some of your highlights? Let's share some stories.
You guys are gonna have to remind me what happened this entire time, because
it's just a giant
such
blur. A blur. Yeah, we had high hopes for how much content we would be able to record in a very, very small amount of time to do it in. I don't think any of us slept more than probably 5 hours combined over the weekend.
I would say Friday was the night before Christmas, but times 100.
Yeah.
I have not felt that anticipation since I was a little kid. All of us that were there, I mean, it was so fun seeing people in the lobby and at dinner, and you could just feel it in the room, just this anticipation of the next day to come.
And they kept everything
energy was insane.
The energy was high. They kept everything so secretive as to what was even happening. They would tease stuff about oh, you're gonna like this announcement, you're gonna like that announcement, all this kind of stuff, and just really hyping it up. So we didn't even know what to expect. So that just added to the anticipation factor for us. Yep. But Friday we all flew in, and I made sure we all hit the gym so that we would be ready to go. Jacked, just pumped out of our minds. Yeah. You gotta get the brain flowing, you gotta get the blood flowing, you just gotta get ready, you know what I mean?
Yep. That was Jay's highlight of
that
the
was
weekend.
Actually a fun time too.
It was great.
Just hanging out with you guys.
I mean, so that was the first time I'd actually met you two in person. First thing, Jay is like, hey, great to meet you, we're going to the gym, come on, let's do this thing. It's all right, great.
It feels
great.
So weird that is the first time that we met you in person, because it feels like we've known you for a while now. So it's just weird.
No, the first thing Jay said was, dang it, I'm not the tallest guy in the group anymore. So I kind of like
Unfortunately.
that.
Yeah.
I am, according to the guy in the elevator, still the buffest one in the group, though.
That was hilarious.
Yes. Elevator guy. Yes.
He
He's
knew what
gonna-
was up.
He's going to hear this podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the first thing I remember is getting down to the hotel lobby like 30 minutes before the dinner, and Jim Cartwright and Josh Massey come in and come right over to us and say hello. I don't remember if all of you were there at the time, but I just remember it's like saying hey to Jim again and then seeing his arm
Yep.
and
Yeah.
seeing
Yeah, seeing
the
the tattoo.
tattoos of the aspects for Star Wars Unlimited
Yeah.
and just thinking, wow, that is commitment
Yes.
to this game. And that is a lot of confidence.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. And to all the haters, they clearly, one, don't understand. They're probably not the kind of people that would get tattoos. So that means they don't really understand the meaning of tattoos. And for me to explain it would be like, tattoos usually indicate something like it could be like a milestone in your life, something impactful in your life. And him and his wife have probably done nothing but work on this for the last 3 years. It's probably 3 years of their life, 8 to 12-hour days, drives to Lucasfilm to do, licensing stuff, just developing the game, coming up with ideas, all that kind of crap. So I think it's awesome that he did that personally. So
Yeah.
Totally agree. So we go in for the dinner and they've got this whole room booked out and we end up somehow at a table, us four with the four from Golden Dice. It's like a perfect draft pod, just the 8 with the addition of Josh Massey to make a perfect baseball team. The 9 of us.
Such a fun dinner.
Yes.
I have
So Josh Massey
many
at the head of the
fun
table, head of
conversations.
OP, dad basically for the group and leading us.
yeah,
And
if Jim is the uncle, Josh is the dad.
For sure.
Got it.
I like this family analogy already.
that's so good. So we just got to eat good food and talk to Josh and he was just, I don't know, man. That was
Ecstatic.
fun.
It was awesome.
that was just-
Like one of the very first thing he did was pull out his binder of cards that he had pulled previously. He was showing off the hyperspace foils and the rare cards, the legendaries that he pulled.
Yeah. and we're
and
just
there
like
was some
passing them
crazy
around
stuff.
the table like show and tell.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
So that was great. So and we got to meet Serena, who's I think the marketing director, and
Yeah, she was awesome.
she tweeted this. I didn't realize, but she started back in September with them. So it's been like a crash course on TCGs and Star Wars Unlimited, and
Honestly.
She previously was in the game sphere. It just wasn't TCGs.
Yeah.
She does like a lot of D&D
Role-playing,
and
right?
role-playing stuff. Yeah.
Sweet.
Which
Okay,
is
cool.
cool.
Yeah. So we got to eat some good food, have a good conversation, learn things about the game, ask questions of Josh that he could or could not answer. So anything else from that dinner that stuck out to you guys?
Like we said, it's a blur. It'll
Yeah.
come to us when we remember it, just chatting about whatever.
Yeah. The one thing I remember, we were talking to Inception from Garbage Rollers, and they put this in their article that they released today. And I just want to highlight this, but they asked Josh Massey, what's the kind of the reason behind the culture shift at FFG and sort of this kind of new, like vibrant kind of staff culture and excitement and everything. And he basically said there are a lot of factors, but the biggest factor was Jim Cartwright coming in.
I totally believe that.
Yeah.
Jim is a very, very, very awesome dude. Like his energy is infectious. So it truly felt completely different from any FFG event that we've ever been to.
Yep.
And it's just, you can tell that like everybody's super hyped on it, like internally, as well as everybody who was invited, but the vibes were immaculate.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. And we learned from Steve Horvath the next day. If we fast forward a little bit, one of the first people we got to talk to at the event was Steve Horvath, who came over, and he's held lots of roles with FFG over the years. And now he's technically, I think, with Asmodee, and ultimately the guy who says, yes or no, or at least part of the team that says yes or no on future game ideas. And he got to share a little bit of that story with us about the initial, like, oh, we're not doing another Star Wars game. There's zero chance. I'm a no. There's no way. This was back, I think he said end of 2020. But Jim and the team came with a presentation, and Steve said by the end of the presentation, he's like, dang it, we are doing this. This is we're making this thing, and we're so grateful that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really cool conversation with him.
Yeah.
Very enlightening.
All right, so Saturday, we go into Wisdom Gaming. There's giant posters of all the, the different cards, which looked so cool. Walking into that space.
Was that the first thing we did Saturday after getting coffee? I guess
we had coffee and acai bowl for me.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit more before now teasing.
Yeah, let's let Mike review the acai bowl options at Mall of America.
They were both mediocre.
The one that David got on Saturday did not look good.
No, it did not. I looked at that and I was like, great, I'm not going there.
That is A-okay. It tasted great, so it's fine.
Yeah, I don't think we did much. So Friday after the dinner, we kind of just hung out in the lobby with all the other content creators, TCG Cast, Garbage Rollers. I mean, there's a ton of them to name. Ice Cave Radio. I can't think of all the other ones, but there was a lot. Just kind of hanging out, went to the bar, chatted with everybody. I mean, we were probably out to like 1 or 2 a.m. that night, just hanging out, talking. We had brought some proxy decks, played some games with proxy decks, and there was tons of other people in the lobby playing games. So yeah, that was pretty much all we did Friday night. And then we got up, headed to the event on Saturday morning, like Christmas.
Yep.
That's right.
And it felt like Christmas because when we got there, we got some sweet goodie bags.
Yeah. First thing they did was give us our goodie bags. What was in that goodie bag, Coach?
Well, some people may have seen this already from what people have posted, but we got a bunch of sweet Gamegenic products, which are incredibly high quality. Especially that deck box is just so good. And honestly, I used the sleeves all weekend. And the sleeves are like really good. I really like playing with the sleeves. Yeah, way better than I would have thought that they would be. I'm like legit might use those for my the decks that I build in. I'm usually a Dragon Shield guy.
After the experience I had getting like the Captain Hook sleeves for Lorcana, which are completely unusable.
Those are unusable.
Yeah.
So it was pleasant to see these and be like, oh, these are kind of nice.
Yeah, very happy that they're actually good. And then we also got a 2-player starter set, some really cool pins, a set of pins with the different aspect icons, this like special token that was like the initiative token. It says Stars Unlimited on the front and then Spark of Rebellion on the back with the logo. Really cool. We also got a booster box of Spirit of Rebellion and Spark of Rebellion. Spark of Rebellion. Yep. And then we got probably what we would all agree is the coolest item, which was the exclusive playmat that is, it's only available here. That means a lot to us. We're very excited about that.
After I already have product, that'll be the coolest. But still, right now, the box is the coolest.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, it's
in like
hard to
3
box,
weeks,
but
it'll change. But since it was our first box ever, that was the coolest.
That is totally fair.
In the most Christmas way possible, they made us like all sit down and just stare at the product and not touch it.
You can't open any packs yet.
For like 20 minutes.
You got to take the family photo first.
That's awesome.
Got to make breakfast. Have some coffee.
So they got the stream ready and they said, hey, everybody listen, because right at the beginning of the 5-hour live stream, they're going to talk about something new, which we quickly found out was the Twin Suns multiplayer rules.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So they explained it all. It was kind of hard to hear just from where we were, but and we were all staring at our box too. So it was like, oh, that's really cool. And I really like all these new things. And then they were going to go play Twin Suns, and then we got to rip open our packs. But it was really cool to hear that because they'd announced that they were doing Twin Suns this week on Valentine's Day, but to do it at that event was really cool because then we also, at least some of us got to play while we were there and play some Twin Suns. So what did you guys think about that announcement?
My mind was immediately buzzing on all the combos that you could do.
If people have not caught up on what Twin Suns is yet, what the special rules are, you play 2 leaders and 1 base. They have to be either aligned to hero or villain, so you can't mix and match villain and hero. And then there's 2 new counters, so you can get initiative, you can get a blast counter, which deals 1 damage to each other opponent, or you could get the plan counter, which lets you draw a card and put a card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. So you can't soft pass. You have to pick a counter if you don't have another action to take, but those are basically the differences if you're unfamiliar.
And the game ends when
Right.
One player's base dies, so it's not like they're just out for the game. Everyone else keeps playing, but it ends then. Whoever destroys the base gets to heal 5.
Yeah, and then at the end of that round.
End of that round. Yeah. So once someone's base is destroyed, that's the final round.
Yeah.
But they play it out to see, and whoever has the most health on their base ultimately wins.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
I think the heal 5 is super relevant too, because it makes you want to take someone out. Like sometimes you can get into a situation in other games like Commander or like in Destiny when we played, you would not want to kill the next person because then the following person just kills you.
Yeah.
So being able to hit someone,
get second kind of thing.
Yeah,
kill
that's
them,
hugely relevant.
and then heal 5 can put you at that point to where it doesn't matter if they hit you, you'll be fine, which is cool.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for some Twin Suns. I wish we would have been able to play more, but we were drafting and doing sealed, so it was sort of like it's like I don't know
of the game that we did play. How do you guys? I mean, I thought it was incredibly fun.
It's so fun.
I loved it. Yeah, we immediately were like trying to devour our proxy decks that we had to make Twin Suns decks. With plus the product that we got to open, and we had a break during that day, and we ended up going and playing some Twin Suns. Yeah, I was super stoked. And it was really cool that they played a game of it on stream immediately after they announced it. And it was a good game from what I was told.
I watched it
a really
in the
exciting one.
Airport when I was there yesterday, and it was super fun. It like really shows off like the wackiness and sort of the just, I don't know, fun social experience that you get by playing a game like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is set 1 and they already have a constructed format. They already have a draft format. Sealed works really well. And they made multiplayer work on the first set. Like,
I mean, some for everybody.
Knocking it out of the park as far as like how you can approach this game. Like, how competitive do you want to be? Like, you can just open up a few packs and make a deck immediately with the Twin Suns format and just play with friends. Like, I love it.
Yeah. Did you guys see any spicy combinations that they were playing that stuck out to you? Because I really liked Xander's Grand Inquisitor Krennic deck. That's
cool.
clever.
Yeah.
I like that.
Very cool. Danny's Han and Sabine deck, where he was trying to resource to 3 and then resupply so that he could play Sabine round 1 was hilarious. He didn't get to pull it off, but such a funny
so you Han put a resource down, you're at 3.
So now you're at 3.
And then you resupply for 4.
Now you're at 4.
You get to flip Sabine turn 1.
Which is
you just
funny,
immediately put a target on the back of your head.
Well, yeah, but also like the games, there's no way you're going to just knock somebody out that quickly. And I'm like, you're just a sitting duck at that point. But if you can do it, more power to you.
It's less about...
It might be more for the meme than for anything. Yeah. It's pretty fun.
Jim is our resident competitive player, guys. So let's...
and the second most tenured commander player here. So.
There you go.
Jay might have me beat there. I don't know.
No, probably not. Yeah. So Twin Suns, what did we do after they did announce that? We got to play some sealed.
We sealed. Yeah.
Open 6 packs.
Yeah, we did. Do you guys remember what was in your first pack?
I know what Jay's was.
Because I don't.
My very first pack had a Falcon in it.
Oh, that was your first pack? That's so sick. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was sitting there opening mine. I'm like, oh, yeah, Jay's is cooler.
I remember staring at that first pack for so long, though, just taking every card in. I think I got like a rare Count Dooku.
Ooh, nice.
And like, I think it had 2 hyperspaces, which was cool, but just some commons, nothing crazy.
I also had Han in that pack,
which is
a rare leader.
Wow. Yeah.
They fit.
I got Gideon Hask in my first pack.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's cool because we hadn't seen it yet, and he's a rare, so it's like, oh, I didn't know who he was because video games.
He doesn't play games.
So I'm over here opening my first pack, looking at it, showing everybody this pack, and then I was across from Scott from Golden Dice Podcast, and he opens a second pack right away, and he just kind of freezes for a little bit, and he was like, "Is this the showcase?" And I'm looking at it. He has the Emperor Palpatine showcase in his second pack. And both of us were just like freaking out like schoolgirls because we're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like, because we hadn't seen one before in person. This is like the first times anybody's opening packs around us. And I mean, it's just the first thing you see is like, oh my gosh, there's Palpatine in all of his glory. Just
I would have passed out.
It's entertaining. No. I mean, that was a wild experience, even just to get, obviously I'm not the one that opened it, but even just to see a friend get to do that. I mean, what a cool moment that's going to be like at your local game store in those sealed events.
I can't wait for the pre-release events. When people are opening stuff. And
I mean, I can't wait for the pre-release, and I've already opened packs.
Seriously. We talked about this at the event a lot, but like the pack opening experience is like so incredibly exciting. They like absolutely nailed it. I can't think of any other game that I like have felt this way about opening packs. Just like every single thing that you can possibly get. You can get, I don't know, like 4 or 5 like hyperspace cards in a pack is possible. And it's I don't know. I love it. It's so exciting.
Yep.
Yeah.
A lot better than a Destiny pack, which had 5 cards.
5 total cards.
And we relived that this weekend too.
We did. We did.
We opened a Destiny pack. Courtesy of the Crack Dice gaming crew.
That was good.
Yeah, you opened it and I was like, wait, that's it?
I know. I was like, holy crap, I forgot they only had 5 cards.
So,
and one's a location. One's a battlefield. So it doesn't even count.
It's
terrible.
Yeah.
So they've come a long way.
Yeah.
I think that's just the theme of this entire game.
Yeah, they've come a long way.
I will say, just because not everyone knows this, but the packs themselves are paper.
Yeah.
Which I really liked. Like,
So
it just
good.
felt good. It makes it really easy for draft because you can literally just tear the top off and then slide the leader out without looking at the rest of the cards. Which is so cool. But I built so we did our 6 packs, and then we were supposed to, in our sealed pod, like build our deck and then play some games. I ended up building a Tarkin red deck with some like spicy out of aspect, like surprise strike and power of the dark side. I lost to Jack from Golden Dice because he had Boba Fett with Fett's fire spray, and I just could not do anything about that fire spray.
That sounds about right.
And then I beat Flockton from Golden Dice, and just I had to stabilize. But after I stabilized, he was also on Boba, and just got to win. And then I was done. That was it. I had to go get ready for the live stream draft.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But what about you guys?
My sealed deck, my pool, I had 2 Falcons in it, and I drew Han rare. So I was like, well, the story writes itself sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't got to put any work into it. So obviously,
and one of the Falcons was not just a regular Falcon.
No,
we'll get to that in a minute. But I played Flockton round 1 from Golden Dice. We played twice, crushed them both times, easy. I don't know. There's not much else to add to that, really. Oh, gosh. And so I was like, all right, let's try one of the more veteran players from Golden Dice and see if that's even a little more of a challenge. So I move on over.
Flockton, ignore him, man. You're listening.
After you lost to Jack, I was like, all right, I got to get revenge for my boy DHaus. So I go over there and I whoop up on Jack. Easy.
That's right.
Easy. I was like, I stand up and I ask the entire room, is anybody here a challenge? Come on. Let's play. So then I had played Jim and I lost.
Come at me. I hear this man open 2 Millennium Falcons. I'm sitting here with a open fire. I'm like, that's going to slide in my deck. Don't mind if I do. It absolutely used it on him.
Trash. So, that's how my seal went.
That's funny. So I built an aggro deck. I had so much red-green just early game plays, and I pulled a Sabine and a Leia. So I just built that out really quickly. Played Palpatine, the Showcase Palpatine game 1. And I went with Leia just because I'm like, Sabine into Palpatine, that game's just going to be over so fast that like that's not fun. And I actually lost the first game against Scott. So he just was able to stabilize really well, but then was able to win the next couple, which was really fun.
Did you swap to Sabine after the first one?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So you lost with Leia, but then you just swapped to Sabine and you won both.
Yeah. Nice. And then after that one, I went and played Davis from Tower Number 9, had a cool Vader deck, and ended up winning both of those games.
I forgot we could use Vader and Luke.
Oh, yeah, I did too.
Were we allowed to?
Until literally just now.
Which, for pre-release events,
did they say
it's
that?
important to note you can use those 2 starters.
They did say that,
They did. And so my favorite play in that matchup was I had an out of aspect command that I was able to pull, and played it for 6 on Leia to kill just a giant unit that Davis had just played.
Nice.
And at that point, both was kind of like, yeah, this game's probably over at this point. So I was able to pull out 2 quick wins. So aggro early is very good. And then I kicked Jay's butt because he's trash at this game. So
this guy. This guy.
What about you, Mike?
What'd you seal up?
Yeah, so I played Krennic Tarkintown, and I was pretty excited to open Tarkintown because I love that base. And I also opened a Super Laser Blast, I think the first one, which was pretty fun. And I also opened a Force Lightning. So I was like, boom, my 2 coolest legendaries in the same deck. The thing I forgot to do was read Force Lightning and the clause that says, if you have a Force unit, you can do this stuff. And I had 0 Force units in the entire deck. So
perfect.
when first round, Nick, aka the Gandork, dropped his Vader leader unit, I was like, oh, sweet. I can just pay 1 for Force Lightning and then, pay 4 to deal damage to him. And then I looked and I was like, wait, this doesn't work. So I had to Super Laser Blast instead, and then promptly lost the game after that because he was able to actually play stuff and I wasn't. He pulled the legendary Vader card, and that just ran me. That card was so good. I mean, we obviously know it's good, but it looks so cool in person too. I'm very jealous of that pull. And then after that, pretty handily beat the other 2 players that I played against. Played against Jake from Swoo Holocron, as well as Banana Crapshoot from Saga. And those games were much more closely in my favor, but super fun games, great opponents. I can't remember what they played because I don't remember anything, but loved it. It makes me want to play Sealed all the time.
Yeah, so Sealed is really good. I think.
It's a really fun format.
It felt like a fun format. Taking in the consideration that you can use Vader and Luke is probably even cooler. Or at least you have more options. My deck I didn't have a lot of red, so I had to go blue, it felt like. I actually don't know if I had enough cards to play a yellow-red deck, or I had just enough if I included the neutrals. That might have just been a weird pool that I got, though. But yeah, I think
you can always play out of aspect too.
Yeah, true.
There was one. I mean, we might get to this later, but there was one draft where I drafted Han, and then I drafted an OB, and my plan was for that to be the card that I play on 7. And I played a couple games with that deck, and every time I played OB, I won the game. So that was very fun.
Yeah, sounds like
even out of aspect
as well. Out of aspect, it's in Sealed in particular. It seems very reasonable if you have one of those bomb cards, just play it.
Yeah.
So that's sweet.
Honestly, the whole reason I went Tarkin was because of the shiny cool stuff that I pulled.
Yeah, makes sense.
So on video, I'm just gonna show. I got this.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, this hyperspace super laser technician.
That's so sick.
And I was like, I really got to play this. So for our audio listeners, sorry about this. I got a hyperspace Veers.
Nice.
And then foil Star Destroyer and a foil Emperor's Royal Guard.
Yep.
And I was like, I've got to go green villain. I've got to go with the Tarkin at this point. So
totally.
Well, if we're showing stuff off, we might as well go ahead and say what our favorite cards are.
All right. The ones that we pulled?
Yeah. You
or
go
acquired
first,
otherwise.
These are our favorite cards that we got over the weekend.
All right. So my favorite was actually my pack 1, pick 1 of the official FFG live stream draft, which was this guy.
Ooh.
Nice.
Hyperfoil Battlefield Marine.
That is sweet.
And I'll get to that story later, but this thing looks so cool and I just love it. So that was my favorite card I pulled.
That looks awesome.
Jim, what you got?
Well, I always cheat on these and pick 2 cards. And I technically didn't pull either of these cards, but I pulled an equal card and traded. So the first one is my Hyperspace Hera, because I've been loving building that Hera deck out, and traded this with my good buddy Mike over there. I pulled a Han Solo Hyperspace, and we just said, want to trade? Because he's our Han player.
I love Han.
I want Hera. It was perfect. And the other one that I traded for was this Overwhelming Barrage, which I just love this card.
Hyperfoil Overwhelming Barrage.
Hyperfoil Overwhelming Barrage.
There you go.
So
audio listeners.
I pulled a Hyperfoil Ezra Bridger, which is also an uncommon card, and found the biggest Spectre fan in the room and said, hey, you want to trade? And they reluctantly, but also very happily made that trade. So I think I love the cards themselves, but even more so just around the whole idea of community. It's like every time I play that card, I get to remember that and think of that friend. So it's like, man, that's so sweet.
That is
I'm
awesome.
really excited about that.
So you traded for Hera and then traded away in a Spectre.
I'm not smart.
That's
but
what
yeah,
I'm
I
thinking
did.
of.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%. Well, I already had enough Ezras, so we're fine. I have 3 Ezras. That's all I drafted. I drafted so out of aspect to pick up those specters.
I'll go next because I was waiting for somebody to pick 2 so that I could do it without being the first one to do
You
it.
want to be the first one to do 2.
So I have 2 because I couldn't choose. The first one is Hyperspace Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
So sick.
Looks pretty awesome.
That's insane.
Was in my sealed pool, so that was pretty awesome. And then the next one just looks so awesome. It's not my favorite card in the game, but the Hyperfoil Fallen Lightsaber.
That looks ridiculous.
So good.
Wow.
So yeah,
that's pretty.
They knocked it out of the park with those Hyperfoil cards.
Yeah,
my goodness.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's my pick.
That's awesome. All right, so my favorite card that I walked away with was this Hyperfoil Security Complex. Just look at how shiny it is.
I mean,
it's so shiny. So shiny.
I'm blinded right now.
So this card was very graciously gifted to me by somebody who I was in a draft with, and I was eyeing the card, and I was very I very clearly wanted it, and then they were just like, here, at the end they're like, here, you can have this, and I was like, wait, are you serious, really? So that was amazing. I loved that moment, and the card looks so good.
Yeah,
it's the first. Actually, there's 2. This is my second Hyperspace foil rare that I can add to my gigantic binder to start collecting towards my master set. The other Hyperspace foil that I opened right next to Jay, and it was the best rare in the game. Galactic Ambition.
Yeah.
Which ironically is the only rare that I got 2 copies of in my entire box.
I mean, I'm glad that I'm putting it in a binder because it's never going to go in a deck. So
yeah.
And you never have to actually buy that now.
Exactly.
Knock it out early.
Yep.
That's so good.
Are you sad if that's your Hyperspace foil rare for your box? Like whenever you go
I don't think I'm ever
one?
sad opening a Hyperspace foil rare.
No.
Yeah. Fair.
All right, should we continue?
Let's do it.
What do we do after
no.
sealed?
I say David's draft is coming up.
Oh
so-
yeah, let's
Yeah.
talk about that for sure.
Let's do that.
Yeah, so I got pulled upstairs to start drafting. The FFG live stream was going to show the draft gameplay, but they decided not to live stream the drafting portion. So the 6 of us went to a different table and we drafted, which for my nerves I think was good because drafting on a live stream with like people watching what I draft would make me so conscious of every decision and probably make bad decisions. I don't know. But basically, it was 3 FFG staff and 3 content creators. So it was me and then Dan from Main Deck Games and then Flake from Ice Cave Radio. And then it was Xander, Jeremy Zwern, and Tyler Parrott. So we sat down and they alternated us, like content creator FFG, content creator FFG. And I got sandwiched between Tyler Parrott and Jeremy Zwern, two of the 3 creators of this game. And I'm just thinking, these guys have been drafting for 3 years. And this is pretty much my first real draft outside of like a little test on TTS. So I was like, just don't do anything stupid. I'm like, just try to like, just be cool and do the right thing and don't overthink it. And so very first pack, I don't remember all 3 leaders. I just remember I got Leia, and I just like Leia. You'd think I was going to say I'm comfortable with Leia. I actually screwed up. I missed the Leia trigger on stream, but I like Leia's just kind of aggro nature and very straightforward kind of play. So I snagged Leia, and then the next pack that was passed to me was I took Boba Fett, and then after that, Jyn Erso was passed. No, not Jyn. Han Solo was passed to me. So I was basically in yellow, green, but I had hero villain options, which made me feel good. It was sort of one of the things we had talked about beforehand, just like our initial impressions of draft were to try to keep your options open on hero or villain so that you're not too pigeonholed into one thing. So I was happy for that. I wasn't happy to be receiving packs from Jeremy Zwern the whole time because I'm like, I know he's not going to give me anything. And he's just so, the guy has won so many world championships for different games. Like, he just is so intelligent, and he knew exactly what everyone was drafting, probably a few picks in. Long story short, I ended up going with Leia with yellow because I kept getting a lot of like yellow hero stuff from Jeremy. So I figured this feels like a safe, since I already had Han, I figure, okay, if I'm going green and yellow hero, I can easily go to either leader if I needed to. And so I got a couple Lothal Insurgents early, which is a nice 2-cost rebel unit. That's a 3/2, just super aggro kind of thing. And I was like, this feels like a Leia deck that's coming together after I'd already taken Battlefield Marine. So I was thinking between Battlefield Marine and the early Lothal Insurgents, I was like, this is a nice rebel rush aggro kind of shell that I think I'm going to go to. So
do you
so
remember
yeah, I locked in pretty early.
Do you remember what the rare card was in your first pack?
I don't.
No,
I don't.
I'm just curious what you passed up to grab the common 2-cost 3/3 vanilla card.
It wasn't just vanilla, Mike.
No, I know.
It was a hyperfoil.
That's very true.
I was snagged by the...
Oh, cool. What's the text box say on that card?
Yeah. It says win games.
It is cool, though, that you mentioned that the hyperspace foil versions don't have reminder text.
Yeah.
They just have the keywords.
I didn't notice that until
cool.
somebody pointed it out to me, but it is very cool.
Yeah. So the one thing that I realized as we were playing was that to my left, Tyler was on. He had Thrawn out there. He had Jin, and he had Sabine.
Did you introduce yourself to Tyler when you sat down at the table?
Oh yeah. Okay, we sit down at the table, and Xander is like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. He said, oh, by the way, has everyone met each other? And I hadn't met Dan from Made That Game, so I said hey to Dan, and then I just kind of glance at Tyler, and I'm like, hey Tyler, I'm David. I'm like, and he laughed it off, and I think most of the guys at the table realized what was happening, but. That was a fun moment.
For
and special shout out to Parker.
Doesn't know what we're talking about. There was a time when FFG went live on accident, and they had hot mics, and they were talking about the Christmas series that we posted on our channel, and they were like, "Oh, have you seen DHaus's 12 days of Star Wars Unlimited Christmas or whatever?" And Tyler was basically like, "Who's DHaus?" So now he knows who you are.
Yeah,
in theory,
We'll never forget.
Yeah. And Parker, old Force Unlimited and Sweetie Bee fame, had a really funny Twitter video that morning calling out a few different content creators. And he had a moment where just go watch the video. It was pretty funny, funny. Kind of laugh at that. So I thought he had Jin and he had Sabine and Thrawn. I did not think he was going Thrawn, but quickly realized all the villain stuff was disappearing. And I'm like, he's definitely excited to get the red villain stuff. Like, I think a force choke wheeled around the whole group, and he was shocked. Like, he was like, I can't believe this got back to me. So I was like, okay. So he's on Thrawn red villain, and he got a lot of great stuff because no one else was on red villain. So all the good red villain stuff was going to him. And so we drafted, ate some lunch, went on the live stream, and come to find out, I'm being paired into Tyler Parrott specifically, which you guys had nothing to do with, right?
Nothing at all.
So we get on there, and you can go watch if you're really interested. You can go watch the game. But we basically introduced ourselves, and then the way we were playing was like we were playing, but we had the two other guys behind us. So Jeremy's word and Flake were right behind me. And we're supposed to like comment on each other's play. But I sat down with Tyler. I was like, Tyler, I think we need to have like a formal handshake on camera. And so he stood up and did it exaggerating. It was great.
That's great. What was it like having Jeremy right behind you, watching you play Star Wars Unlimited?
Yeah, it was like I kept making jokes about like, oh, this is great. I got the coach. If we're talking about coach, I've got the coach behind me, literally in my ear. Like, come on, Jeremy, like you're gonna help me, right? Like this is how this is.
What kind of advice did he give you?
He said nothing. He said
one
nothing.
thing.
He said one thing, and it was when I forgot to trigger Leia early on. I was a ball of nerves, honestly. Like I didn't realize I was nervous, but my hand was kind of shaky. I was like, oh man, I need to chill out a little bit. And I missed the Leia trigger to double attack with the Lothal Insurgents, and he just leans in. He goes, "Why didn't you trigger Leia?" And I was like, "Oh, Jeremy." Like if I lose on missing a Leia trigger, like say that like before I do something stupid.
Yeah, but now you were thinking about the Leia triggers, so you didn't miss future ones. So he did help you out.
There you go.
It's true. But yeah, so luckily I got, again, you can go watch the game, but I got a couple Lothal Insurgents out early. I got Donna in my draft pool, which I was able to play. He had to deal with that, but was able to take some early claims because he was using Thrawn pretty aggressively to exhaust stuff. So there was one turn I got 8 damage on his base with a double activation of Lothal Insurgents because Donna was my play and then claim. which felt really good. And then I got to deploy Leia and get another 4. So that turn I got 12 damage on his base. And it was just off to the bases because I had a Chewie Sentinel at one point, and so. But the best thing was I ended the game with our very own first spoiler that we ever got for this game, a surprise strike. So surprise strike with Leia for 7 damage, and then with the Lothal Insurgent for, I think it was Lothal Insurgent, for another 3. So did like 10 damage to finish the game.
Nice.
And that was it.
That's awesome.
It was a fun game. And then I just got to sit back and watch Xander play against Dan, and then watch Flake lose to Jeremy. At one point, like Tyler and I were both like working with Flake to try to like almost team up and like can the 3 of us figure out how to beat Jeremy. And spoiler alert, it doesn't matter. Jeremy wins.
He also had a super good deck, but you were the only content creator to win.
And I was
bringing home the glory for us, Coach.
That's why you're strictly competitive stream, so watch out, world.
Yeah,
that's right.
Well, what did you guys do when I was drafting? I actually have no idea what you guys were doing during that time.
Jay and I did some pretty fun interviews that hopefully will be posted on the channel relatively soon. Got to talk with basically everybody from FFG, which was awesome. There were a couple of people we missed, but
we only missed a couple, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but we got a lot of them.
Yeah, that was so fun. Even just like hearing some of the questions you guys had, I think it's probably pretty refreshing for them. So I'm very excited for that video to come out and you guys get to see what they all really think.
So am I.
I was just hanging out with some folks during that time. So I was upstairs hanging out with Sugi and Jim Cartwright and just kind of whoever came to the table. It was kind of the watering hole of let's just talk Twin Suns and
nice.
Think through different ideas. So it was just fun to just get to know people. But I took a little bit of a mental break during that time to kind of reset and rally later. So
yeah, it was a lot for sure. Like super fun, but it was a lot all at once, which was great, but also exhausting. So yeah, we needed some breaks in there.
Yep. So to finish the FFG live stream, they did reveal that the set 2 starter leaders are the Mandalorian and Moff Gideon, which is pretty
so exciting. Yeah.
Cool.
So exciting.
I want so badly to know what they do. Like all we got was a little art teaser, and I'm like, please show us more. Like I'm dying to know more. And then I look back at the entire first set we get to go back and actually like ponder now. So I'm like, okay, they gave us enough. But
Jay, I mentioned this to you, Jay, which is that I'm glad that they only revealed the art and they didn't reveal like what the functions of the leaders were, because then everybody's just gonna like start playing with those now. And I feel like I really want to get some good time in with all of set 1 before moving on.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
I think that was an incredible decision. Especially since we don't even have set 1 release yet.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to know set 2 cards yet.
Yeah.
Like, revealing the theme and like characters that might be coming is cool. But yeah, I agree. Anyway, during the draft, your draft, and while we were doing stuff, pretty much everybody else opened all their packs that they had. No one could restrain themselves to save packs for drafts and such. So everyone pretty much was busting open their packs. No additional showcases though.
Yeah,
we had
none.
the 2 during sealed, the Krennic and the Palpatine, and then that was it. Those were the only 2. So that gave me hope that it was in my box. So I was like, I'll just keep holding off on opening my box. Maybe I'll get one. No, it wasn't.
Wasn't mine either, and I was one of the last ones to open their packs, I think.
Yeah, same.
So we took a break. We were actually kicked out of the venue so that they could set up for the celebration event that night. We went back, we played some Twin Suns, we ate some snacks, got some coffee, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what else. What else did we do? Anything?
I went back to the gym, Coach.
Oh yeah.
You went back to the gym.
You did.
Yeah.
Got a quick gym session.
Yeah.
Yep.
A lot of just running on the treadmill, but I think anytime I'm just sitting on my butt playing games all day, I just
you gotta move.
feel that itch to move. Yeah.
Fair. And then we all got ready and headed up to the celebration event.
Yeah.
Which was basically like a what would you call it?
It's like a cocktail party.
Cocktail hour, yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. Like cocktail hour, and then we hung out with the FFG folks. There were a bunch of folks that came to specifically just that to hang out. So we got to meet some people that were there that weren't at the event previously, and then we got a couple more interviews in with people.
Yep.
And after that, it was time to draft. again.
Absolutely.
Yes.
For the 4 of
Everyone
us that still
was-
had packs open to
Yeah.
open.
Everyone was itching to just like get finish the dinner part, the hors d'oeuvres, the drinks, and let's just go play some games. So that's what we ended up doing.
Yep.
Yep.
The 4 of us plus Josh plus Sugi did a draft. We were the first ones in that hall,
There were-
ready to go.
And
yeah, a couple more
Gandork
people, right? Yeah, Nick and one more
and
person.
Oh yeah, Nick and Jake.
Jake.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was the 8 of us.
That's good. Yeah.
We did a
That
draft.
was so fun.
That was my first draft, I think, and it was incredible.
Loved it.
I was rare drafting for sure.
Yep.
Like if I saw a hyperspace, if I saw a foil, if I saw a rare, I was picking it. Didn't matter if it went in my deck, I was taking it, and I ended up getting a lot.
I should have done more of that, honestly.
Oh, I for sure
Yeah.
did that. I had 26 playable cards like in aspect after I got done with everything.
That's so
and I had to
funny.
play 4 cards out of aspect, which is funny.
That was such a fun draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
I ended
a-
up playing Josh, and I think that we both went Jin. He went green, I think, and I went blue. And we played twice. Those
Nice.
were really fun games. I just had a ton of restore in my deck, and he thought he could burst me down, and then he realized very quickly that he could not burst me down because I was healing as much damage as he was doing
Nice.
with
That's
like
awesome.
Kanan, Yoda, restored arcs, all that kind of stuff.
Those cards are
Um,
so good in
nice.
draft.
Yeah.
Restore
Yeah, they
arcs.
are.
I mean,
Seriously.
crazy.
I played Nick and got to get revenge on him for the games that we
Nice.
played previously. So I
The sealed
I
game.
played Han. That was the draft where I drafted Han and Overwhelming Barrage, and so
Nice.
Mhm.
got him a couple times with that Overwhelming Barrage, and
Right on.
yeah, it was a fun time.
Nice. Yeah, I ended up going Krennic yellow. I've always loved Krennic, and I think he was my first leader I picked. I think I saw Leia in that same pack, and I was like, I just did Leia draft. Let's go different. Let's go. So I grabbed Krennic, and people kept passing me Death Troopers, including you, Mike.
Yeah, probably.
So I ended up with
I was
like
locked into hero because I was stuck with
Yeah.
heroes in that one.
Yeah.
I did what you're not supposed to do, and I passed the only villain that I had open. And I knew that it was going to be past 2 heroes, but Sugi was to my right, and he was basically begging me for that Emperor Palpatine. So I was like, it's okay. You can have it.
It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had my final Krennic deck had 3 Death Troopers and 2 of the Scout Bike Pursuers, which was just like a really great start for
Oh, yeah.
a Krennic deck. Yeah. And yeah, just had a bunch of others. I got a hyperspace Bosk that also did a ton of work, but I ended up playing Sugi, and he was on like Palp control. And first game, my deck went full aggro. Like it was crazy. I just bursted him down so quick, and I had a bunch of Sentinel units. I don't think he did much damage. And so he's like, all right, game 2. And I'm like, I don't think we're doing game 2s here. And he's like, can we please play game 2? I was like, all right, sure. So then we played this game, and oh my gosh, this game was so different. This was a slog control fest, like healing between Make an Opening and Krennic's Restore, and he had a super laser blast at one point. It was just absolute madness. But in the end, I milled Sugi out.
Oh yeah.
Resident
And,
Mill player over here.
And again, mill rules in Unlimited. When you go to draw a card, you can't draw a card, you take 3 damage. So if you're drawing 2 cards, you're taking 6 damage. So
Yeah.
that's how I closed the game. I had 25 damage on his base, and he had no cards left.
Nice.
And so I was able to do that, which was hilarious because Sugi is a famous mill loving player, and I hate it. So I did not let Sugi live that down at all. And that was it.
Awesome.
So draft was super fun. Like
Loved it.
I built a Tarkin deck and it was just wrecked. I had every like red trooper Imperial you could find, and it's like
of course
turn 1 4-2 trooper, like turn 2 like 4-3, like it just got so gross so fast. I ended up playing Jake from Swoog Holocron, and it just like turn 5 and the game was already over. I'm just like, yeah, troopers are good in this. They did what they were supposed to. Just tempoed out really well. So,
I don't think I saw
Nice.
hardly anyone playing Tarkin besides the 2 of you, like in sealed or draft. And I think he's good and really good in both.
Yeah, it's tough to like turn 1 play that 1 drop rather than the 2 drop, because like the 4-2 value is better than most normal 2 drops. So almost thinking like you're playing a turn behind, but not really. Like you're just buffing the other units that you have, and also have the flexibility to just play out the 4 drop on turn 4 kind of thing, or with 4 resources. So yeah, it's a little weird to think through how to make that work, but it was really powerful on that deck.
Nice.
All right, so we got kicked out of the venue. We went back to the hotel lobby.
And we all went to sleep.
Yeah, we just went to bed. It's a great...
No, absolutely not. This is probably the coolest part.
Yeah.
Even though it was like the most...
It was after hours.
Yeah. The event was supposed to be done, but a lot of the devs and Jim and Josh Massey and all the cool folks came over to the hotel lobby with us, also known as the Hobby, and we just played some games. We did some drafts
on the floor, because there wasn't enough tables.
2 draft pods on the floor.
Yep.
Luckily, I got there early and I secured a location for me to play Twin Sons with Joe and Aaron. Right? Yeah, I can't remember the 4th person that played with us.
Was it Ryan?
It was a content creator.
It was only 4 of you.
It wasn't a dev. Yeah.
Got it.
Was it Peter?
Maybe it was Peter.
I think he was with you guys.
Peter, yeah. So getting to play against 2 of the devs and 2 of the newer devs who worked on Twin Sons, which is cool. And yeah, that game was so sick. I ended up winning because I got into a position where I could defeat both of the devs to heal 10.
Nice.
And then Peter couldn't deal enough damage to just to get enough health to beat me.
What were you playing?
Yeah, what deck?
Palpatine and Tarkin. Just a bunch of control plus Imperial units to be able to just buff up. Yeah. And then I ended up, so what I did is I did get a super laser blast early, or not super laser blast, super laser tech early. And Aaron played freaking regional governor. I'm the only green villain at the table. And of course he says super laser tech.
In a singleton format.
And I'm the only green villain.
That's so
I
good.
love that. Yeah.
So I had to convince other people to help me take out the regional governor. And then I finally got to play it.
That's so funny.
Which helped me get to Palpatine. And I ended up flipping Palpatine and taking Saw Gerrera, a damaged Saw Gerrera.
Ooh, that's cool.
That's spicy.
Killed him with it. And making everyone take 2 damage whenever they played a unit or event.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a really good time. I had fun with that.
That's good.
Nice. Yeah, while you were doing that, I think David and I were, and Jim were on the floor drafting with a group of awesome people. And it was not comfortable, but it was so fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
Had a blast.
I tried so hard to find a space to play that was in a room with a table and some chairs, but couldn't make it happen this time.
Hotel wouldn't even take our money.
Nope.
No.
Bribes didn't work this time.
It's a bold business plan. No, we don't want money.
Yeah, right?
To sit at a table. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is one of my favorite times of the whole weekend for sure. I ended up drafting an Iden yellow, very similar to the Krennic yellow deck I just played. But it was a hyperspace Iden, and I was like, I just want to play a hyperspace. I don't know. And so I went with Iden yellow. Again, I got 3 Death Troopers with it.
Wow.
Double make an opening, just lots of just nonsense, lots of control and outmaneuver, double asteroid sanctuary stuff. And so again, I ended up sitting next to Jeremy's Wern. I got to stop doing that in drafts. I need to stop that. And then when we all paired off, I ended up playing Jeremy. And I shared this story on Twitter, but for those who aren't on Twitter, I'll just briefly explain this. But he was on Jin Red, but with a bunch of random splashed colors in, which was kind of interesting because he played an Arc 170, for 4. And it actually did a lot of work. It was doing a lot of healing. He bursted me up to 12 damage, which I started to stabilize and control. And with Iden and make an opening, I was healing like crazy. And so I just healed back down to 3 damage at one point. I was at 12, got down to 3.
Wow.
And I was chipping away at him. And it just every time he'd play a unit and have 2 health, and I'd play a Death Trooper. And he was just gosh, these Death Troopers, they just kept coming in. So we're playing for a long time. It is the longest game I think I played all weekend. And we're getting down towards the end. And I've got his base at 16. He's got my base at 8. And I'm looking, and he's got 3 cards left in deck. And I've got initiative and an outmaneuver. He's got 3 units in the ground and 1 on space. So I play an outmaneuver to start. I exhaust all of his ground stuff, so he can't hit my base. And then he does something else, and I asteroid sanctuary his space unit, so that's not doing damage. And I've got a sentinel on that side now too. So I'm thinking I could literally just mill him out, like at this rate. Like he's at 16. He's about to start, and I've got a unit I can put in some damage, and I know I've got an AT-AT suppressor coming, which when you play, you exhaust all units in that arena. So I'm like, I've got another one coming of like exhaust this thing, and so I'm starting to like get that feeling like, can I beat Jeremy's Wern? Which you should never ever have that feeling. Like you should always assume you're losing.
Words.
And right at that moment, he takes initiative. His very first play. And I'm top decking 2 at a time. I'm playing 2 cards every turn just to like keep up. His very first action, he plays Vigilance, which is a double blue card
for 8.
For 8, he plays Vigilance for 8, and he kills my 1 like ground unit and mills 6 cards off the top of my deck, which is my last 6 cards, including my AT-AT suppressor. And I've got like two little cards in my hand. I'm like. And 1 unit on board his 4, and I'm like, oh, I lose. I never anticipated getting milled out. I thought I was doing the milling. He had 1 card left in his deck, and I'm like, oh, all right, that's game. Like that's just,
the mill giveth and the mill taketh is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
it was so funny, and we were playing on the ground,
and you were like, let's try this again. This mill thing is pretty fun.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. And
close to the sun.
Yeah. That was my last game of the night, because after the 2 mil game, I'm like, my brain, I can't, I'm done.
Yeah.
But make an opening in draft is a
Good
great card. And not even just in draft, but I know Jay hates it. So,
Mike, what did you draft that round? Because you and I finally got to play each other for the first time all weekend, and we had a really good game.
Yeah, we did. What did I draft?
I was on Sabine because I'm that guy.
It was probably like 2 in the morning at that point, and my brain was definitely not working properly. It's already usually only at like 50% capacity, but it was rough. What? I can't even remember.
I just remember you definitely healed a lot. So it was blue something.
I think it was Iden. No, it wasn't Iden. Was it Krennic? Did I play Krennic again? I don't even remember if I played Hero or Villain. I don't remember any of the cards that I drafted.
Oh my gosh,
I remember like basically nothing about this game.
It got
that we
very
played.
late, very
Did we
quick.
even play a game? Are you just gaslighting me right now?
No, we played. Yeah, game happened.
What'd you play?
We had fun. I was on Sabine.
Do you remember any cards that I played?
I just remember you had.
I just healed.
You need to take more pictures, guys.
Oh
no,
man!
You resource the card that when you play it, you can heal 4 from your base. Yeah, it was a fun last game. So we got to enjoy just that last little space. And Sabine was finally able to do enough damage. But I remember thinking like, oh, I'm gonna wipe you out quickly. And I had to make a lot of plays to get rid of some of your restore that you had out there. I think you played the upgrade that gives restore.
Oh, it's all coming back to me now. I played Cheer It.
Yes.
And I put Devotion on a Guardian of the Wills, and I was trying to heal with that. And it was a really close game. If I had healed just like a little bit more, I feel like I would have had it. But Sabine, just that 1 damage every turn adds up.
Yep. Fun last game for sure.
While you guys were doing that, I was fried, so I had to go up to the room for like a good 30 minutes, 40 minutes to just get back right. And then I came back down. You guys had finished up the games, and people were down there till I think 3:30 a.m. doing drafts and playing games and sealed. And
I'd already
Twin Suns.
woken up at 4:30 in the morning, like my time, to go to the airport on Friday. And then the next day I couldn't sleep. So I woke up at 6:30 Central Time, which is again 4:30 like in my brain time. And so I was just like absolutely exhausted. I couldn't stay up any longer. I wish I could have stayed up until like 3 or 4, but it was not in the cards.
Yeah.
What a fun time.
All right.
Incredible.
Yeah, I think that about sums it up.
We'll end up talking about our feelings on like draft and Twin Suns and another video.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they're great.
Yeah.
But overall, the event was surreal.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really well put together, well ran.
Yeah.
Lots of cool things they did. The venue was sick. Their streaming setup that they got to use was amazing. Going back and watching the stream was cool. Like, it was unfortunate. Like, it sucks. Their best stream was the time that we weren't
You didn't
able
get
to like watch it, but we
Mhm.
were there, which is better, obviously. But yeah, like probably their best stream they've had so far. I hope they're able to like keep up with that, which would be cool. Let's see. Meeting everyone was sweet.
Yeah.
Meeting all the content creators and getting to hang out with them was fun.
Yeah. My biggest takeaway from the whole event was just the amount of energy and time and staff and the people who showed up from the office. Chris, the head of studio, but even the graphic designers and the market. I mean, just the sheer amount of effort into this.
We got to meet people from licensing. We got to meet one of the art directors. We got to meet, people from all over the company. Yeah. It shows how much they're putting behind this game. And
oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Significant.
Even when I was getting ready for the stream and going back, kind of behind the curtain and seeing how many people were just there to make sure the stream was amazing was impressive. It just again reinforced this idea that they are all in and they just want to make the best TCG possible. Yeah. And I can only imagine what they're dreaming up even still for, when the actual events start for this game. So
I can't wait for more. I can't wait for the next thing.
Yeah.
I'm itching to get back and hang out with those people again.
Yeah.
I mean, this community is awesome. It really is.
Honestly,
huge shout out to everyone that put on the event, and seriously, like the community that's there and talking about this game and loving this game. Like, we just want to build up this community. So hop on board. It's going to go fast.
Yeah.
I told my wife last night that I'm teaching her how to play, and she's going to the pre-releases.
Nice.
Perfect.
So
amazing.
She's going to be locked in for that.
Nice.
Because that's like the next thing.
Yep.
I'm ready for it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a long 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Long 2 weeks. I need those 2 weeks to organize or figure out how I'm going to organize my stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
I started putting in a binder and I realized my binder wasn't big enough. And I was like, oh, dang it. I need Mike's binder.
Can I interest you in a gigantic binder?
That's funny.
All right. Well, that'll do it for us this week, guys. We've got lots more content coming. Obviously, this is only the beginning of a much longer and more exciting journey. So, thanks for tuning in. If you're not in our Discord, hop in and join the conversation. And until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.